Hello and welcome to episode 36 of the Livewire Game Show. Something funny happened. Maybe somebody farted. But yeah,
I couldn't stay silent. I was like, we just need one of those like countdown clocks in front of us and just the music.
Oh, it's been too long.
Oh,
it has. It's been 3 weeks and clearly it hasn't gone well. So yeah, we're back after a couple of weeks hiatus. It wasn't intentional. Shit just didn't line up for a couple of weeks. But we're back. It's episode 36 in a week where Facebook changed their name and Man United beat Liverpool 5-0 in opposite land. Anyway, we're here to talk about franchises that we would like to see. I had to get in there. We're here to talk about TV, movie, book, music franchises that we would like to see made into... Hey, Professor...
Oh no.
Post Malone did a Pokemon crossover. Anything's possible.
We got Rockstar.
But anyway, we're here to talk about franchises that we would like to see made into computer games. It's in a world where video games have infamously not made great movies or TV shows until The Witcher came out. But we're here to do the opposite. Before that, we'll have a catch-up. We've got a lot to catch up on, I'm assuming. So we'll kick it off. Dylan, what have you been up to over the last couple of weeks?
What have I been doing? I've been working. Do you know what? It comes across like I'm working like full-time. I'm only working like part-time, but it's just like on the days like we should record. I kind of tend to work like Wednesdays through the weekend. But yeah, no, just quite a bit of working. Not a lot outside of that, to be honest. Just family stuff and playing a lot of games. I've been balls deep into Guardians since it came out the other day. I had to Google it because when anything says chapters, I'm like, I need to know how many I'm getting through. So I'm on chapter 9 out of 16. So I'm fairly like well into it now at this stage. I think I've sunk like 3 full kind of 6-hour sessions into it. So one of those, I'm taking the Kev approach. I'm looking everywhere. I'm not trying to rush through it. But at the same time, I just want to progress it because the story is so interesting. It's on par with Miles in terms of storytelling. Personally, it's very to the point. There's not a lot of kind of faffing about. It's a linear story, so it's semi-open world, which I love because you can't get lost too much because I have no sense of direction when it comes to...
In what way is it semi-open world? Like, is it like Ratchet and Clank kind of way where you can go to different planets? Is that what it is? I haven't looked into that.
It's more so mission select, but in term like kind of open world in terms of you have your point A to point B, but you can go a few different routes and you can go find collectibles and stuff like that along the way. Which that's just the way I like playing the game. So this to me just hits all my sweet spots. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about it because I'm sure we'll review it in the future. But yeah, it's probably one of my game of the year so far.
Big Steam sale for that to happen.
Oh, you guys haven't played it at all, have you? No. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Who wants it first? I have it on PS5.
When it gets ray tracing. I watched SkillUp's review, as I watch all his reviews because I like how he reviews stuff, and he gave it a very big recommendation. Like I get the story's great and the characters are great and all that's fantastic. I'm just completely hung up on the gameplay. I did watch some extended gameplay segments of people actually playing it, and it just looks like it'd frustrate the hell out of me. So I'm gonna wait, give it a while, wait for a sale, and I'll pick it up at some point in the future. And like, I'm interested to play through it because like we're all Marvel fucking shills. Let's be real about it. We all enjoyed superhero stuff, as I'm sure the main topic of today will show. I enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies of the Infinity Saga. But just that gameplay, like to me, the gameplay looks like a stripped back version of Final Fantasy VII Remake's gameplay, where the shooting of the pistols or the blasters does very little damage, but it's the abilities of each of the 4 members do the team coordination, and they each play a specific role. And I'm really interested in that. It just looked like a very kind of, I don't know, just a basic version of the remake's combat, and I'm still not totally sold on it. Now maybe it's a thing of when you play it you go, oh my god, this really works for me, or coherency between the different team that like you have Groot combine them together, and then Rocket blows them all up, and then Drax comes in and does massive stagger. See, I know how it works.
Yeah,
Drax does massive stagger damage, and then Gamora just does a Nova Bomb on the ship like a Korra.
Yeah.
So like, I'm interested in how that works. It just, when I was watching it, it just didn't look fun.
I get that. Like, to me, that's the one thing I thought it was very similar to in combat was Final Fantasy VII. And I like this because it was more so the game doesn't pause, it doesn't slow down. You have to, it's like in-time reactions, or not quick-time reactions, but just more so the fight is still going on, and you have to make this kind of quick L1 squared triangle or L1X blah 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 combo. And yeah, like I said, they play well off each other, and it is one of those things where you line them up with different abilities. Like you'd bind them first with Groot and then do the exploding because they're all in the one spot. Finishers are in it as well. That's the only kind of little cheesy thing I don't like as well with the super where they all gather in a huddle up kind of thing. It's cool for bosses and stuff, but just in general kind of mobs, you're kind of like, it's a bit much.
Like I've seen that takes a good 30-45 seconds to kick off. Whereas if it was a 5-second thing, you'd kind of go, do the huddle, music kicks in, we all get rid of it. Yeah. But it can
fail as well. But I haven't had a fail yet. If you click the wrong thing to say, it like doesn't spark them on to fucking be better and shit like that. So it's pure Guardians. Like the humor in it is brilliant. The back and forth, and the world itself, very very good, very very good.
Yeah, I think like if I was to buy it, if I was to just finish up today and to go buy it, I'd be buying it purely for the visuals because it looks incredible. Like there's not like. I was watching again some gameplay on it on PC, and with everything dialed up to the max, it looks incredible. It really does.
And I can't believe we only got this announced 5 months ago, if even 4 months ago. So yeah, to me, it's
just that gameplay. I want to play it, but that gameplay, I worry that I would just get really pissed off at it.
Yeah, and that's not the experience you want either. You want to be able to enjoy it. But I think coming from the likes of Avengers as well, and being able to put up with that, this is very rewarding because it's one of those, if only this was like if this performed the exact same as Avengers or as Guardians. But yeah, no, loving that. So I'm on chapter 9 out of 16 at the moment, so I'm hoping to finish that maybe next week. I started New World as well, actually, over the last few weeks. Kind of fell off it. I feel like with MMOs, I've done all that in WoW. I've done the fetch quests, I've done the grind, and I've maxed out to level 60. And when you're doing that again, like when you reach that kind of story point where it's like, go level up for 10 levels and then come back and you can continue this, it's very, very tedious. And I feel like you can only do that so often. Yeah. So like, I attempted it. I got to level 33, I think it was, out of 60. So it's always there. I can pick it up whenever if the buzz comes around, but don't want to force myself to play something that I'm not too keen on right now, just for the sake of leveling up to do endgame activity. Like,
does it allow you to step away from it, or is it kind of like the way Destiny is that if you step away, does that FOMO of I'm gonna miss out on something, or have they kind of gone no? You can have they taken the Final Fantasy 14 approach where it's like you can go do what you want, it'll be here when you come back.
Yeah, like it's a general MMO, so it does follow that kind of style of not a season format. You can literally just come back and, unless DLCs come out or expansions, which there's been no talk of at the moment, and that'll probably be another year away. But yeah, in terms of like roadmap for content and stuff like that, I don't think there is a solid one at the moment for like dungeons and stuff like that. But yeah, dungeons are cool, story's really cool, but it's just all the bits in between. It just personally got very tedious because I'd done all that over the summer. I know lifed WoW by myself. So yeah, you can only do that once every couple of months. So yeah, kind of fell off that. I didn't get into the PvP side of it at all. I know other people love that, and that's their way of playing it, but the beauty of MMOs, you can play it whatever way you want. But yeah, it just wasn't for me. So took a step back from that, just being back playing Apex. Finishing off the season, kind of building it back up for a new season launch on Tuesday. This Tuesday, I think. Yeah. That's coming out. So kind of took a break from that for a couple of weeks and then jumped back into it.
What you're saying is Destiny's new season should have launched next week as well.
Basically,
because they always line up.
Yeah,
we've got 3 months to go.
Perfect lull. Yeah, it's that kind of nice. You do the story, you do whatever, and then you take like a couple of weeks or a month off, and then it revamps the drive to play it. Same with Destiny. Took a break from that. I've been played a lot of PvP today, because I'm gonna play some solo trials over the weekend as well.
It's not on.
Hopefully get another flawless.
Well, Freelance isn't on.
Yeah.
It's match made. I'm up
just
for playing.
General with teammates.
Yeah, if we can get a decent team on, I'm happy to play.
Yeah, 100%. Because I really enjoyed it last week. Last week, for people that don't know, they done the trials freelance labs. Which
before you get into that, can we just do the whole catch up and then
go on. And just go off.
And then just loop back to that in a few minutes, because that's a conversation we can actually just have. Because I played some of that as well, and we can just loop back to that in a minute and just actually chat about that, because that's a big topic.
Right, Stephen, you go next, and then me and Kevin have
not to be rude or cut you off, but just instead of having the conversation twice, we can we'll loop back to it in a minute, and I'll keep track of where we spoke about it. Stephen,
how has your life been over the last 3 weeks? We have not seen or heard from you. You've been on several Avonmore cartons in the Kerry area.
He got a football called at Wilson.
I've been fucking hectic.
That's a good idea. I could play as Tom Hanks in a game on a stranded island. Ooh, I just
Tom Hanks simulator.
Sorry, go on, Stephen. Off you go. Sorry.
Yeah, no, my life's been hectic. I have barely had a chance to piss at this stage.
Or shave.
Or shave. Yeah. Actually, this is probably 2-day-old stubble, so...
This is...
Fair play. 2 days. GG.
Yeah, this here is... I'm going to say since last Saturday. That's how slowly mine grows.
Yeah, so I've been busy doing work stuff, and then family things as well, so I haven't done a lot. I haven't been on the pod. I haven't been keeping up with Destiny. I think I only got to like week 4 and Dark Souls. What's that? Give me that.
What was that? Remember years ago? What's that? Give me that.
I just remember we used to say it in school.
Yeah, all the time. It was like one of those like little like salad fingers or some shit like that. Do you remember him going around?
Yeah. I don't know what's from, but just for years I just been like.
Do you remember that? Yeah.
Sorry, Stephen. That's just I'm getting ahead of myself.
But so the one thing I did do was I got a new laptop from work, which is quite powerful. It's got a 3060 in it and the new Ryzen processor, so that's been my work laptop, which meant I could bring my PC down to the OLED, and I booted up Cyberpunk, maxed everything out, fucking put everything on Psycho or Ultra, and it's unreal.
Incredible, was it?
Oh, it's so good looking.
Is it one of those, once you experience it, you can't go back type thing?
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far now, but it's very...
I couldn't play Cyberpunk without ray tracing on. It's not the same game.
Yeah, I won't play it without ray tracing now.
It's not the same game.
You need to have ray tracing on in some way to enjoy it. Once you put it on, it doesn't come off. I just love even walking up near a water puddle and be like, ooh, I can see the reflection of the building perfectly. It's so beautiful.
I can read this tiny text in reverse perfectly, yeah.
Yeah, it's what I will say though is
it's like going from like the old shitty box TVs to a widescreen, and just like can't go back.
Yeah, but the only thing I don't like about the ray tracing is maybe not really, but it's the lights. Like when you get into like really populated areas where there's bright lights, the neon lights, I find they're just a bit like they're a bit too
fake kind of thing.
A little bit. It's like the lighting is real, but the luminescence of them is really it's just oversaturated or something. I don't like it. But it's a completely different game. But then I bought Death Wish 2 days ago. It was on sale. I've been looking to, or Deathloop, not Death Wish.
I was like, Death Wish, what's this now?
No, Deathloop. Because Kev's been talking about it for ages and telling me not to buy it. and then they got a performance update.
And then he told you to go buy it.
And then it got 45% off on Green Man Gaming, so it was like
nice.
33
It's actually,
quid.
Dill, if you're interested, it's actually quite cheap in GameStop at the moment as well.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to get it for PlayStation. I've nothing to trade in against it at the moment. Guardians is I got the collectors, but the deluxe, but so I won't be trading that in. But yeah,
I was looking. I was looking for what stores had Metroid Dread in stock. No GameStop in Dublin has it in stock.
Serious.
Because I was going to trade in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe
for a tenner. Yeah,
for a tenner, you get
so good,
Metroid for a tenner, and the deal ends on like Monday or Sunday or Monday.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'll go buy it this evening before we do this. And I was like, right, which store has it? And literally no store. The closest one is the Nace store has it. It's sold out in the whole city. It's crazy.
Go join
if you want.
I'm not going to fucking Nace.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I can get it for you in New York next week, but if you're not going to Nace, I don't think you'd want to wait till next week to get it.
It's fine. It'll be back in stock, and if the deal is still on, I'll get it.
The deal will still be on. That's been on for ages.
They kind of revamp it. It's available to this moment. Then it's like, right, we'll regroup, see what we need, and see what we have, and then it's like new trade-ins become available. Yeah,
they do their little huddle.
Yeah, it's like we can do this.
But the fucking Deathloop, like I only played it for maybe an hour.
Yeah,
but like the gameplay is grand, but the voice acting and the dialogue,
it's hilarious.
It's like the first 5 minutes I was already laughing. Like Colt is hilarious as Juliana, and even the NPCs, like you're listening to some of them, and just the things they say, you're like, this is fucking it's unreal. It's just hilarious, and yeah, I'm enjoying the story of it so far. Just kind of like waking up, having no idea what's going on, and it's like have you seen Rick and Morty, the assassin? Oh boy, here we go killing again. It's like this, like, oh boy, here we go breaking the loop again.
Yeah,
but like you've no idea what you're doing, and
there was so much I loved about that game, but there was also some things that I was kind of like, I wish it wasn't that way. Yeah,
I know how it goes towards the end, and
it's the ending that I really not the ending I didn't like is that there's only one only one ending. Like there's only one way that last loop ends. There's not like you don't have to actually figure it out. The game just says, "Go here."
Yeah, because so far it looks like it is quite open, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, you're free to do whatever.
It really bottlenecks in at the end, and it's.
But it's like the performance is quite good. Even I was using the laptop the other day, and like with everything put to max settings, I was getting about 45 to 50 FPS, even with ray tracing on.
Yeah, I turned ray tracing off because it causes crashes.
So I haven't got any crashes with ray tracing.
Yeah,
so.
It'll just happen randomly at some point.
Okay, yeah. Other than that,
just before you move on from Deathloop, the one thing that is kind of not steer me away from it, but just my apprehension kicks in when the way in my head, the way I'm processing it is that you have an island and you have to steer people into the right direction to get kills at the same time, don't you? Because you only have such a small window. How does that is that very kind of
right?
You can't miss this, or is it very
you can't miss?
Okay.
So the way it works now, that's what I thought it was, and that's when I was kind of like, oh, this is amazing because you get to figure it out, and then the things I do force it. No, so the way it works, there's 7 or 8 visionaries, and they're the main bosses of the game. 6 or 7, whatever. They're the main bosses of the game, and each one of them. So you have Igor, whatever their names are. There's lots of all the different. I can't think of the names now, but each one of them is basically your quest. So you'll go along Igor's quest, and then you'll finish it, and then you'll do the next one's quest all along and finish it. And once you finish all the Visionaries' quests, that unlocks the final loop. And then that's where the game says, this one will be here at this time. Do this in this time. These two will be here at this time. So it literally, it's 6 or 7 quests. And then they all kind of, when you complete all of them, they link into one final quest.
Okay.
So
that was
It's very
a bit
open, and then
daunting thinking about it.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was, but no, it's not at all. You can literally just track one and then skip to the time of day you need to be to do the next part of that quest, or dip into another quest and do a bit of that one, and then go back and whatever. No, it's very open in how you do it, but it's very linear. And then at the end, it's very, very linear. It's literally just do this. Yeah,
I like linear.
Yeah, no, it's quite linear. It's way more linear than you would think it is. It's daunting at the start, but when you actually look at it, it's like, oh, this is actually really straightforward. It just track the one. It's like Destiny. Track the one you want to do.
Track the main one.
Yeah, that's it. Just track the one you want to do.
Yeah, that's kind of set me a bit of ease compared to what I thought it was, because like that, it's you can.
And even if
so
you die or whatever, or the loop of that day ends, you remember. It's not like Returnal where you go back to the start of the first biome. Anything you've unlocked up to that point, you basically keep. With like weapons and stuff, you have to infuse them to carry them from day to day. But that's something you unlock at the beginning of the game. Sorry if you haven't got that yet, Stephen.
I haven't got that yet, no.
Well, it happens very early in the game.
Yeah, but it's the one thing that I was apprehensive about is I don't tend to like the arcane games, like the Dishonored games, because of not the gameplay, but the mechanic around. Oh yeah, you can play this game whatever way you want, but if you kill everyone, you have a penalty, and you have a plague or rats, and you're like, fuck that shit. Like, that's not playing whatever you want.
Yeah.
In this way, it does seem to be...
You're rewarded for killing everything in this.
Yeah, so like in this one, it was like you can play stealth or you can go loud, and I was like, oh, fuck's sake. I was like, seriously, if this is the whole like, oh, there's a plague of rats or whatever, I'm like, fuck this. So I was like, right, I'll go loud. So went in, found the first group, went, fuck this. Took out the first guy, stealthily took out the first guy, and then just started opening up on the rest of them. And yeah, like one of them had a fucking sniper rifle. I was like, grand, took that with me. You get to a part where someone alerts everyone to where you are, and then everyone converges on you. It's like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. And I just took out the sniper rifle, got into a lane, and just started picking them off. Like, this is great. No rats, no plagues, no nothing. Walk, finish the mission. I was like, this is how I enjoy games. Just go in, all guns blazing, and fucking get out of there.
This is playing it the way you want.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I'm enjoying it so far. For 33 quid, like the first hour has been worth it. Yeah, like I can't wait to get into it now. I started up Hades on the Series S. And yeah, it's okay so far. I think as I get into it more, I'll probably enjoy it. But yeah, I'm starting to realize Returnal is not a rogue.
No, it's not
at all. It's not even close. And
in terms of being more forgiven,
it shouldn't be reviewed as a roguelite either.
I think it's more that it's missing all of the elements of a roguelite, and it's probably closer to a Souls-like game than it would be a roguelite. And look, Returnal's great. I love Returnal, and I think it just means that I love Returnal because of what it is, rather than it being a roguelite. I think I probably don't like roguelike games. But I'll play Hades a bit more and see. But yeah. So that's been my 3 weeks of desolation and isolation. What about you, Kev? Oh, the other thing is I've joined the basketball team and have already injured twice.
Oh, I was going to say nice, but I'll just stick with the
Yeah, I've already bent my finger back.
That happens at the start, though, when you're getting back to fitness.
Yeah, my calf yesterday. I don't know what I did, but it's like it's constantly constricted. It's like I'm walking around like I'm. But no, I'm enjoying it.
What position you like playing?
Basically, when everyone doesn't give me the ball because I'm so bad at the game again. So I just run and like, pass me the ball, and they pass it to someone else's score. I'm like, yeah, team, well done. And then someone passes me the ball, and it's like instantly like, oh fuck, this is the wrong decision. So I'll take a 3-pointer and it like goes to the other fucking side or something, like, yeah,
attempt.
So it'll take a while to get back into it, but once I say after a couple of months I'll be able to lay up again properly and take a few shots. But for now, I'm position is left back on the bench, and I had to register today, and like, it's 100 quid if you want to play matches, or 30 quid train. I was like, 30 quid it is.
Jesus.
It's like,
no. Hell, just to register into a league, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Same in my stuff, it's €100, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'll just not give him the choice to ask me to any matches. I'll just like, no, I've only registered for playing the training. So
I only signed up for the trial version.
You ain't getting me with that microtransaction bullshit.
Yeah.
Kev, what about you? What have you been up to?
To be honest with you, I actually probably have. I don't think I've played a lot of games over the last few weeks. I've been kind of just relaxing and chilling. I think I was kind of bored a couple of weeks ago, so I started playing a 10-year-old RPG just because. So I played quite a bit of Skyrim. After finishing Deathloop. I just fired up Skyrim one day and was sitting over there looking at it on the OLED.
So you didn't play it on your toaster, no?
No, just kind of spun around and just with the controller in hand and just start going at it. And it's kind of funny, I realised how little of the main quest line I'd actually done in Skyrim when I played it when it first launched. I just obviously just spent 20 to 30 hours just pissing about doing nonsense. As you do in an Elder Scrolls game. Aside from that, I've been chilling on the sofa, watching NFL and football and wrestling, playing Pokemon on the Switch, and that's really all I've been doing. Been logging into Destiny to do the Grandmasters each week, doing 1 or 2 Grandmasters, and then logging out again because just not a lot to do in Destiny right now, and that's fine. Yeah. But yeah, I was off. I had 2 weeks off work, and then I was back last week. So work's been just when you take 2 weeks holidays and nothing gets done for those 2 weeks. So yeah, I've just been flat out and worked. I've actually really been flat out in the last 2 weeks in work, and it's just it's been busy. So I've been kind of tired. Sorry, Stephen.
Fair enough. No, I was gonna say the other thing I remember doing was playing a bit of Death Stranding. Or I should more accurately say, watching Death Stranding. With
Death
bits
Stranding
of gameplay.
is a masterpiece.
That
as a movie or a video game.
Yeah. Actually, can we put that in as franchises I'd like a video?
Why not? Why not?
No, but it's... Because
it's an experience, isn't it?
Well, as I was saying, I have the PC downstairs.
Dill says that he was saying about how he found Deathloop a bit daunting to get into because of the way it was set up. I found Death Stranding daunting to get into, and I still do.
Absolutely,
because I know it's a 50-hour commitment. 50-hour commitment.
Yeah, it was
the bits that I have played. So I played up until I think you're further than me, Kev, so I can give the initial spoiler.
Yeah. I think I'm about 4 hours in. I think
I'm about 12 hours in. And I think I'm only to where you are in your 4 hours.
Apparently I'm 9 hours playtime. However, I've watched the opening cinematic to that game about 12 times. So I'm about 6 or 7 hours in.
Yeah, so I did the part where you had to go incinerate a body. You've done that yet? So the president's body, yeah. So I've done that, and that game is the gold standard for optimization. Everything maxed out. And I'm still hitting 120 FPS.
I'm actually willing to say it's the best looking and performing game I've played.
I won't say best looking.
No. Best looking for how it performs as well. A best pound for pound looking game.
Yeah. If Cyberpunk performed the same way that Death Stranding did, it would be unreal. But Death Stranding, it looks cool. The vastness of it looks fantastic. And yeah, Jesus, the BTs when you come out with that incinerator and you would walk around and hold your breath. I'm not signed up for this shit.
It is one of those. You can't just pick it up. It's you have to be in that mindset of right. I have to take this slow. I know random encounters could take you half an hour to get out of if you don't want to do the fighting with the BTs. But yeah, the holding your breath mechanic, I love that. I thought that was amazing.
I did kind of fall to my death getting away from the BTs because you can't traverse the mountainous terrain very easily, apparently. Unlike in real life, where you can just jump backwards.
Just go vertically on a horse. Just go vertical on a horse. It's fine.
Yeah. I was just gonna say you'll notice on the kind of the main routes, not even main routes, but it's kind of like if you start a mission here and you have to get to here. Instead of going all the way here, you'll notice that people leave ladders and kind of walkways and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Someone called Igor left a couple of ladders and a rope to get up. I was like, oh, this is grand. Too bad you didn't have it on the way down. And I literally went, I was like, oh, fuck, what happens now?
And
then
zip lines. You can get zip lines then eventually.
Oh, okay.
So the Director's Cup brought a fucking launcher that you can just load your stuff and just launch it across the map.
Apparently, you can't take fall damage in the Director's Cup.
Oh, yeah, because you have the parachute yoke, yeah. Or the jetpack, whatever you want to call it.
Probably should shell out for that shit.
Yeah.
On PS5.
You need the proper experience.
Oh, it's on PS5, isn't it? Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
But no, I've been doing that, and that's, gold standard in optimization. Everyone else gone to it.
It's insane how well, like, I get 120 FPS on the OLED at 4K with DLSS turned off.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's pointless turning on DLSS because I don't need it. It's insane.
Yeah. Oh, it's like that game needs ray tracing now.
Who knew Kojima could make computer games?
You mean movies?
Movies. Yeah, apart from
new
that,
genre.
well, yeah. I think apart from that, as they was saying, I played a bit of Freelance Trials last week, which was solo queue only, no pre-made teams in Trials, and that was interesting, to say the least. So, Jill, yeah, you go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah, I started off having no kind of. I had to know what it was. I went to do the weekly. Was it win 20 rounds? I think it was, or play 7 games, some shit like that.
20 rounds for the seasonal challenge.
I initially just went in, just saying, right, I'll just do this. I'll take it off, and then I won, and I won, and then I won, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll keep going. And then I lost, and I was like, that's 3 games. I'll just fucking keep it going. Played 7 games, won 7 games, got to the lighthouse. It was great. As the card did go on, I did notice it wasn't a sure win each time. It was more 3 5s and 4 5s. It wasn't steamrolled, and that was the one thing that I noticed. Even when we were winning, there was no guaranteed like 5-0s. It was always like 5-2 or whatever. And 9 times out of 10 we lost the first round as well. So I was like, oh fuck, it's just gonna like. It was one of those, because you're playing with solos, you don't know how they're going to play. So it's kind of like, right, if I be aggressive the first time, I can't see what they're going to be like. So I was more so let them push the lanes and see what way they're going to approach it, if they're just going to rush in or if they're going to play the doorways and shit like that. So I was just kind of trying to play off them. But overall, it was a good experience. Like anything, if you're playing solo, you're going to get good teammates some games, bad teammates other games. You show up some games, you show up less in other games. Which, from my experience, I didn't think I had to be the best person on the team for it to be a win, which was nice because it showed that the matchmaking was actually good, that we were all on that kind of same level, especially on the enemy team as well. Yeah, rewards weren't great this week. It was the sword as well, so I was a bit kind of like, fuck's sake. Didn't need an adept Solar Scar, but we have an adept Solar Scar.
Take it off the collection.
Yeah, it's just another one for the collection, like you said. But yeah, there was no kind of standout things negative wise. Just your usual giving out to your teammates because they're not pushing in on reses, or they're letting people get the res if you trade, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. But no, I thought it was a great experience. It made me want to actually continue playing. I just was time restricted last weekend while Trials was on. So that's what I said. This weekend I'll actually play quite a bit if it was back on. But even though it's not the solo, I'll still go in and give it a shot.
So was it skill-based enabled then? So if I I was going to say, shit, I missed out big time because I could have gone in with the kiddie pool and been okay and gone so flawless.
But it felt like that to me. Like I'm a bang below average, like 0.7 or whatever in Trials.
You played at 1.8 last week. You're fucking not below average.
I had a good week. But that's what I felt like. I felt like I could actually hold my own in that, whereas it took the pressure off. Like when we play together, Kev, I feel I have to perform.
It was
at a
very
certain...
chill. It was.
Yeah, it was completely.
I'll give my full opinion in a minute, but it was super chill.
Yeah,
it was more chill than Quick Play's ever been.
It didn't feel. It didn't have that kind of atmosphere of Trials of. This round matters. No. Which you could take that either way. It's a good thing and it's not so much a good thing, but Stephen, for someone who's kind of just likes playing PvP the odd time, I'd give it a go with next time it rolls around, because I enjoyed it, and that's just that was what I took from it. I know you had a different experience, Kev.
I don't think Freelance Trials is intended for me, if that makes sense. It was basically, like, I was joking, it was Trials of the Ego. If you want to inflate your ego as a good player, go play Freelance Trials. Because, especially, by the way, I played it, I think it was the Monday evening or the Sunday evening. So the flawless lobby thing had been enabled. So I was only matching with people who hadn't gone flawless that weekend. And it was basically, if I played any bit decently, we slaughtered the other team. Like, it was just, I was been matched with 0.5 KD players or less, and against 0.5 KD players or less. So I was the outlier in my lobbies. Absolutely was. It was, I don't think it's intended for the people who go flawless every week. No, easily. No.
It's a mid to lower kind of scale.
Yeah. It's aimed at people who don't have that team every week. Or don't want to get that team every week. I just want to go in and play some games, and if they get 5 wins or they get 7 wins or they get a flawless, then they're happy out. It's not intended for me, so I don't really have an opinion on the actual game mode. It was very chilled. It was very slow. It was go to whatever side you spawn on. It was go to the obvious choke point and just shoot at each other through that doorway until both teams are dead. Whereas that's not how people who play Trials a lot play it. It's a lot more movement. It's flanking. It's whatever. I won't get into it too much. But yeah, Freelance Trials, as it was last weekend, isn't aimed at the decent to good to high tier player. It's just not. So I'm not going to actually complain about the actual game mode, because it was fine. It's great to give people options. However, the part I didn't like about it was that it splits the player base even further. So, and that it's done away with it a bit now. The changes is the flawless pool isn't a thing anymore, but you're splitting one PvP playlist for one game mode into 4 different segments. So it's 4 different pools of players trying to match, and that's not conducive to a healthy population in a playlist. And that's where I think they need to look at how it can... Now, they might do it where they say, once a month it's Freelance for the weekend, or it's an option, or once every 6 weeks, and that's fine. But, yeah, I think...
Would they not do it as a, like, at the side of the playlist there is the Freelance option?
That's what they did. That's what
it was, yeah.
That's what they did last week. So you could play in teams, or you could play in Freelance, whichever you preferred. But that just splits the player base. And it's an already shrinking player base, but yeah, I don't know.
Like I
think it was great. Like, it was great that a lot of people got to play it. It was very chilled. It was very, very chilled, and I think the community, the Trials community, probably needs to pivot what they think about the game mode, because Bungie have definitely pivoted what they want the aim of the game mode to be, and if that's the way Bungie are going with this game mode, then they're going to keep making things to make it more friendly to everybody.
Yeah, more universal. Yeah.
I think True Vanguard tweeted out saying it's kind of like they want the game mode to be, you go in, you get your loot, and then you go do something else. And if that's what they want the game mode to be, then that's what they want the game mode to be.
Yeah,
exactly. Like it's the age old thing in Destiny now of it's the ongoing joke about the PvP community and the high end. It's like they don't make the game for them anymore. It's not a competitive scene. You need to reevaluate why you're playing this game and what way you're playing it, because I played Freelance comp today, and oh my god, the fucking hand cannon shotgun bouncy ass hunters or fucking dodgy warlocks. I'm just like, it was literally a fucking ego fest, and I was just like,
but that's what they need to do. They need to add in, if they want to have a competitive mode in it, they need to add in cosmetic things, like the way Apex has it. The higher rank you get cosmetic stuff, and that's what, if they want to have a competitive thing, that's how they do it. They add in stuff like that for people to chase. But yeah, I agree.
But I don't think that would satisfy people of that level in Destiny, because you see with all these private competitions and shit like that, look at everything that's disabled week in, week out. It's like literally equip your fucking primary and fight me. That's literally what it is. You're not allowed any exotics, you're not allowed specific fucking 100 builds and resilience and all that kind of bullshit. And it's like, it completely is. And it's one of those, it has to be such a fair fight that you can't find an excuse that the other person just used something a little bit better. And I don't like that. It's very like, to me, the Apex competitive scene is the perfect example of cohesion in terms of it work, like certain things work in the competitive side of it and other things work in the pub side of it. And there's no crossover in terms of, just because it's enjoyable here doesn't mean it has to be enjoyable here. Like, it's, I don't know how to explain it, but it flows really well. Compared to just the high up in Destiny PvP, just sounds like negative. I'm just sick of seeing it.
Yeah. Like I do think, I think Bungie are positioning the game mode as something they want everyone to play a little bit of, but nobody to play a hell of a lot of. That's just what they seem to be doing.
You can't build a career off it anymore.
No, but if that's what Bungie want to do with it, then that's what they want to do with it. And the changes they continue to make continue to show that they are positioning it as a game mode for everybody to play a little bit of. And
like,
you can argue about it all evening.
Exactly, like your perspective as a higher end player, you didn't like it for solo. From a lower end player like myself, I enjoyed the solo. So that kind of,
it's not that I didn't enjoy the solo. I just don't think it was aimed for me. I don't think it was.
Thing. Like,
I don't get it was
all
there
about
for
communications,
me.
and you're
like,
all about
when I played it, I was
other.
fucking like, I was wetting myself laughing because I was like, I literally have clips of me walking up on the enemy team. There was a guy literally aimed through the door, and I literally walked up behind him, emoted, and shot him in the back of the head with a shotgun. But that's just what it was. I was kind of like, I wasn't having fun because it was like I was playing with bots against bots. It was just, it was boring to me because there was no competition there. And what does that tell you?
Do you think, and like in terms of the way it plays, like slowly compared to the way, like you said, you do your rotates and you try to peek different lanes and stuff like that. Do you think that's just mainly because people, I know it was the map as well, didn't help, but because there's no communication, there's no ping system, there's nothing like that. It's like if someone branches off too far and they get picked, it's like there's no right, I'll say to my teammate, we're gonna rotate round to him to kind of defend that and see if we can get a res, because
well, like the lack of in-game comms definitely doesn't help it. Like a ping system, that doesn't help it. But I think that's just how Destiny players that's how lower tier PvP players play. They find a spot that they're comfortable in and then they shoot from that spot. They don't try to rotate because they don't want to get caught out. I don't know what the reason is, but they don't want to get picked off or killed, so they'll just go to the easy spot, the obvious spot, and just shoot from there. Whereas that's not how people play. But I don't think it was a bad thing. It wasn't fun for me. Like, it was an easy flawless. I was getting easy wins. It was, if you want to get a trials montage, just go into the Freelance playlist, because you'll get kills and you'll get plays easily. But it's not aimed for a higher skilled player. Now, maybe with the changes they'll make, if you play in it for long enough and you get enough wins, you'll end up with high skill games against high skill people. But my experience was, if someone did a trials report check on the enemy team of the team I was on, they'd be like, why the fuck am I matching this guy? He's on a 3.0 this week. I shouldn't be playing him. I'm a 0.5 for the week. This is not fair. And that's what would have happened. But that's I played it late, so look. easy loot. I'm not complaining about
Fair.
easy loot. It just means that if I ever need to get it, if they ever drop a new weapon that I really want and no one's around,
Just do solo.
do solo. Man.
But like that, like it's like you said earlier on about having a team. Like you can go in every weekend and get someone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like for me, I don't have that pull, so the playlist suits me perfectly, and I know there's thousands and thousands of people of my skill level, who do appreciate that. But like you said, it's splitting the player base. It's not a healthy position as it is. You wouldn't mind if it was prime kind of launch of a big DLC.
That's the thing. Yeah, if it was If it was back in the day, D1 day, where it was bringing in millions of players every week, it'd be fine. Yeah. But I always think it's thinking about myself, of course, but I'm kind of in the middle. I'm an above average player, but I'm not a Benji or a fucking I can't think of any other name, a Triple Wreck or a Real Crafty. These guys that are fucking absolute gods in it. I'm somewhere in the middle of that. I'm a good to very good player. I'm not an amazing player. So I just find that whenever they make these sort of changes, the section of player base I'm in is the part that gets hit the hardest, because we're too good to be matched in with the average players, but when we're matched in with the gods, we have to fucking sweat our asses off every single game. So it just becomes very demoralizing. That's just how I feel. It makes me very demoralized, because it's like, oh well, there's no point me playing now, because every game I'm playing against someone doing a carry or a recov or just an absolute god team. Whereas the first week, it was every game it was against 1.0 or less, and it was like, well, this isn't fun either. So there's a balance somewhere in there.
It's like, it sounds like I have a big issue with high end people, but this is a kind of controversial opinion. But it's when you see these people tree stacking at that high end, at that kind of consistent 3.0 and above or whatever, and they're complaining about matching people of the similar level. It's like, what experience do you want? Do you want to go in and play that competitive against like-leveled players? Or do you want to go in and steamroll? Because it sounds like they just want to go in and steamroll. And that's a big fucking ego thing. Because all I see on Twitter, and this is why, it's because it's all I see is the higher end giving out about that, about SBMM, and all they come across is 3.0s, blah, blah, blah. But they're doing the exact same thing. And it's not because you have to. It's like, if it was reversed, you would still probably rock in with the same stacked team, triple shadow dives, triple fucking hand cannon, wrist walker each week. But I understand from your perspective, because you're in a, like you said, an awkward position where if you match against the high tier players, your team isn't necessarily high tier 3 stacks either. And if you match against lower, it's a complete shit fest. So I understand, but I think at the same,
to answer that, as someone who is towards the higher tier, I don't want to match a sweaty stack every single game, but I also don't want to walk over a team every single game. I want a mixture. Yeah. I want a fair matchmaking where it's some games you're going to play that, and some games you're going to play that, and some games you're going to play something right in the middle on your own level. A mixture. And it could be done multiple ways, but it's just a mixture. Now, in quick play is a different thing, because that team balances. So if I go into quick play, I'm against 3 people that are near my level, and then 3 really bad people, but my whole team is bad. So that's a different conversation. But for trials specifically, or for competitive specifically, no, I don't want to steamroll every single game, but I also don't want to sweat every single game. A fair mixture, like you're in the FA Cup. You might draw Manchester City, or you might draw Oldham FC. You don't know what you're gonna get, and I think there's no ideal system, I don't think. And
that's the thing. I don't think there is a perfect fix for it.
But yeah, it does come across as, we don't want to be playing against sweats all the time. But there's also
this is purely trials, by the way. This isn't quick play. Like, I understand.
I think the funny part of it, the funny part I see about that is like, oh, but good players should be matching against good players because that's the only way they're going to get better. Like, but you could also flip that logic that poor players should only play against better players because then that's the only way they'll get better. There's no logic included in these arguments. It's always what suits me best. And that's what people always say. What makes my experience the best experience? Because that's all people really care about. That's the truth. Whereas I just think there's multiple ways you could do it where it's fair. I don't know. I think Trials as a game mode itself is just, it breeds that toxicity because it is that kind of all or nothing. Because
Someone
there
has
is flawless loot, or there is the lighthouse where you can only get there if you don't lose any games. It kind of breeds this toxic nature of, well, I don't want to be getting fucked over, so you have to get fucked over. That's really the thing. If it's me or you, it's going to be you. That's the kind of thing that it breeds. Anyway, fucking moving on from Trials. I'm fed up talking about it. Yeah. Like,
right. Go on to the main topic.
Right.
Yeah.
Dill, you chose the topic. So you get
get
to come in first. Now, our topic for this week, I thought it was a good suggestion actually, is movie, TV, book franchises that we would like to be seen made into video games that we think would be really cool. Before you kick off, I will start by saying I had a lot of trouble with this. I had a hard time trying to think of things. And I'll come back to why maybe I did in a bit. But yeah, I had a hard time with this topic. You really made me think about it. So anyway, it's your topic. Go. I think I know what you're going to say anyway. So off you go and enjoy your moment.
No, it's just I had a hard time as well. And it was one of those, after I said it, I was like, oh shit, I have to try to think of shit now. Because
it's like I didn't think they'd accept it. I thought they'd shoot me down.
But it was one of those, the more I thought about it, I was like, would I actually want to play that? And it's kind of like, especially with franchises and stuff like that, it's when you think of that actual story rather than the world that it's building, I think that was harder. Whereas if you just thought of that universe, it was probably easier because then you can have side tangents and stuff like that. But
I think the part that I struggled with, like, is that, so just to say for an example, a Game of Thrones one or a Lord of the Rings one, we basically have that with an Elder Scrolls game or a Skyrim.
Yeah.
Just without the
with
actual...
a different paint job.
Yeah. And that's where I kept getting hung up. I was like, oh, this would be cool. Oh, but we already have that in this form, just without the franchise tag. So I think that's where I was getting hung up, kind of. But anyway, I digress.
I won't kick it off with Game of Thrones then. No, the one that I thought about a lot, and I was like, we actually have games based off it, and Stephen's rolling his eyes now because that wasn't the agenda. No. And that was another thing. I was like, oh, this would be a cool game if they went in this direction, and then it's like, oh, that's actually in production right now. And then I thought of another franchise, and I was like, oh, but that is a part of another game, so it's irrelevant. But my first one was Jurassic Park. That actually popped into my head. Yeah, like I mean,
as a survival horror
adventure.
Oh,
yeah,
never mind.
No, not survival horror. No, fuck that. Stephen's like, you have my attention now.
No, I'm like, I played Jurassic Park games when we were younger, so I'm interested to hear what you're...
Sorry, go on, Dil.
The Jurassic Park games that we have gotten, well, I've played, were like the Evolutions and the PlayStation 2 variation, where it was a park builder. It was more so like theme park world rather than Jurassic Park. But yeah, like if we had got something like, especially in that era of when we got the Lord of the Rings games, that kind of action adventure, kind of linear, like not side scroller, but it was very much so like across your
screen. Those games were huge back in the day, where we were getting movie tie-in games. Because a movie will come out and then you get the game to go alongside the movie. And they were huge. About 15, 20 years ago, every like geeky, nerdy
any
movie
big blockbuster
had it, like Lord of the Rings, Spider-Man had them. They all had them. Like the James Bond movies ended up getting them towards the end. I was like, and then they just kind of stopped. They just stopped. Anyway, go on.
But yeah, no, just like if we had an island and we had to go on expeditions to hunt whatever, or to like, I don't know, I went on so many tangents that I was like, this all sounds really good. But even if you played like through the main story and like there was a power outage on the island and you had to go rescue survivors and stuff like that, and you had to go on expeditions to discover new species on kind of off island kind of quests and stuff like that. I thought that would be really cool in a game rendition. Now I think would be better because obviously it would come across a lot better kind of visually. But yeah, even if we got something back in the day that was like that, I just kept harping on like that Lord of the Rings kind of format of the Two Towers and Return of the King that we got. But yeah,
my question so is, do I get to play as Jeff Goldblum?
You get to play as a Velociraptor in one mission.
I want to be Jeff. I want to be Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Fuck your Velociraptor. I want to be Jeff.
Yeah, that's a game that if I win the lotto, I'll invest in, and I'll try make. That's not a park builder.
Do you know what? I did actually. Jurassic Park did pop into my head, but I imagined it as a survival horror game, like Alien Isolation, where you're in the park and you're trying to escape from the park, but you've got Velociraptors fucking hunting you to shit down. And that'd be terrifying. Like, fucking terrifying. So that's what I thought would be cool. It wouldn't be something I'd play because I'm a little bitch. But actually, Stephen, I have to send you a clip of someone of it was Resident Evil 4 in VR clips. The funniest shit. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. So you can dual wield on it. So there's a guy with a pistol and a shotgun, like bing, bing, bing. It's brilliant. I was betting myself laughing. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, Jurassic Park is a survival horror. I thought it'd be cool.
Mine would be more family friendly.
Yeah. I would play deals
or me friendly.
Yeah.
But you could expand so much on that. That's what I actually liked about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, so basically what you're saying is you want the Jurassic Park MMO as an action adventure game.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, maybe RPG, but I think that would probably be too big and too kind of. But no, thanks. I want my dinosaurs without chrome armor, please.
You know, if Square Enix or Crystal Dynamics made that, it would be they'd have a battle pass system for your Velociraptor or something.
Yeah, you want blue? Get to 100. Yeah, no, I you know what? It was more so thinking about the first movie, like that whole there's a blackout, or you're going to visit the island, and like that you're stuck, and you have your dart gun or whatever to.
Isn't it incredible how Jurassic Park still holds up?
Of course, it's animatronics.
Yeah. It's animatronics because it isn't CG. It's animatronics. Yeah, it's incredible how it still holds up. So does Jeff Goldblum.
But yeah, no, that was my main one that I wanted to put out into the world.
It's
so
actually not the one. It's not what I thought you were going to say.
Don't say it because I might have it.
Yeah, I would play that. So yeah.
Would you play the survival horror one though, Stephen?
No, not a chance. I'd want to play it, but I wouldn't play it. I can't play Alien Isolation. That's too scary.
Ironically, I actually could play that.
No.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. No.
Some moments were hairy, but
it's sitting over. Which way's my finger? There, right there. I can.
Do you want to go next, Kev?
No, you fire ahead, Stephen. I was terrible at this topic. I'm gonna say it straight now. I struggled so hard with this.
In theory, it was a good one, but actually putting it.
No, it's cool. I just I was just been.
Well, I don't know. I like this one because straight away, the one and only that I was like, this is fucking what I want.
He's gonna say it.
I am. I'm gonna say it. Lego Harry, no.
Lego Jurassic Park.
Oh, what else could we make out of Lego? No, Mistborn. That book is made for games. Like, you two still haven't fucking read it. You've no idea.
I have on my Kindle. I'm rereading Harry Potter at the moment. I'm on a Harry Potter buzz. I'm on the third one. I'll get to it eventually.
You both need to read it. You will love it.
I have another book to read first.
Fuck you both. But you will see.
My new book came the other day.
Oh, I saw you had that, yeah.
Stephen, this is my backlog of comic books right now. Look how thick that is. It's because I like letting like 3 or 4 build up, so then I don't read them all at once.
Deal. Do you remember the topic we did where we were talking about the greatest game of all time, and you missed out on that week because you were working?
I did, yeah.
I was rooting through my room. It's all tidy, by the way, if anyone noticed. I tidied up all the boxes. And I found this magazine. It's Edge's the 100 greatest video games of all time. I just bought it a few years ago. It's from 2015. Guess what they gave number 1 to?
2015. What Call of Duty came out that year?
No.
No way.
Dark Souls.
Jesus.
They said Dark Souls is the greatest video game of all time.
I have to play Demon Souls, don't I?
You do.
Number 2 was GTA 5. Number 3 was The Last of Us. Number 4 was Bloodborne. And number 5, Half-Life 2. Number 6, Tetris. And then Ocarina of Time. Sorry, go on, Steve.
Yeah, so the Mistborn as I think again, action-adventure game. But the magic system of that it's built for games because you can, essentially, some people are born with the ability to burn certain metals. And depending on the metal you can burn, you have different abilities. So if you have steel, you can push. If you've got aluminium, you can pull. If you've got bronze, you can detect other allomancers, they're called. Like, there's a whole system in that universe that you can build a character in, and like it could be an RPG, and you might do it. So, and there's other within that. Then there are people called the Mistborn who can use all of the abilities. So you could be a Mistborn where you spec into the different abilities, which might kind of give you stronger push or pull or so on, and like how they use those abilities as well. So the steel pushers are able to fly through the air because they can find steel in different houses. They can push off that or pull from different ways. There's so much that goes on, but within that, then, so the first book is kind of like your medieval times, and then or the first trilogy. Then the second trilogy of books is like Wild West. So you start getting guns, but something else happens in the first trilogy that changes how things go on in the second trilogy. So even that kind of development, that the game doesn't have to be just based on the first set of books, it can go on to the second set, which then unlocks a whole new set of powers.
Different kind of biomes or whatever, yeah.
No, just even how the Mistings and Mistborn interact with the magic system completely changes. And it's just, it would be, if it was done well, like I've always wanted it to be a TV show.
Yeah.
But I don't think you could really represent how it would. Do you know the way we have superhero shows, but you don't really get proper superhero
It's hard to
action?
represent, isn't it? Yeah.
This would be the same issue. You'd have that kind of, you'd have an overly CGI'd TV show.
Yeah.
And I just think as a game, it would live on a lot more fondly in people's memory, and just it'd be unreal. Like, you could even do it as an MMO, but I think
I kind of visualize it as a Final Fantasy style game. From what you're saying.
Yeah. I kind of think it's probably closer to
Guardians of the Galaxy.
No. Definitely
It's
not.
very reminiscent of that TV show, Shadow and Bone. Just come out the books there. It sounds very similar in terms of one race has the ability to manipulate air, the other one has fire, and the other one's like a healer. Blah blah blah.
So it's Avatar.
You know, I actually
Or
haven't seen that in
Destiny.
years, so I couldn't tell you.
Have you ever seen Avatar: The Last
No,
Airbender?
I've seen it when Prime came out. Like
Okay.
in the
Yeah. And that would, now I know they have made games of that, but that would also make a very good game now.
They're remaking that, aren't they?
As a TV show, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. But no, Mistborn, like the two of you read it and get back to agree that
I know, I need to.
Yeah,
I think anything with depth like that, like to create it in another, like you said, TV show or another form of media like a game, it's just, you can do so much and you can go off on so many different kind of side stories. It's kind of like it's overwhelming because like that on paper could be something that goes on for years and years and years, and you still probably wouldn't get through it.
The other thing is as well, so the author Brandon Sanderson has built out a whole universe called the Cosmere, and it's only becoming clear to me now in the second trilogy that everything is linked together. So there's all these other planets that have their own magic, their own stories. So there's another set of books called it's called The Way of Kings. The first book is called The Way of Kings, but they're these kind of huge novels. They're like the audiobooks are like 46 hours long or something.
Jesus.
But yeah, but they have their own magic-based system, but they're all based within this universe, and everything apparently is linked up. And I'm not reading into it because I want to see how those links happen. Because apparently, within the books, they drop clues to it, and it's kind of uncovering those clues and go, "Oh, this is this." So within that, then you could build out a whole universe of games that have different magic systems, but are interconnected in some way. And it would be unreal, like, because each planet might own itself to a better, like, it could, exactly, print money. Square Enix, stay away from it.
Not print money. It needs money thrown at it more like.
Yeah, EA Sports.
So, no, read
your wallet.
Read Mistborn and get back to me and tell me I'm right. That's all you need to do.
I will. I have been reading a lot more because being back in work, I have much more opportunity to read, and I am kind of getting through my backlog a little bit quicker. But I feel like I can only read one thing at a time, so I will get to it.
You're like me. I can only do that.
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't.
Like my uncle would have like a book in the house, a book when he used to work, a book in the car.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I'm like, he's literally reading 4 or 5 different books at one time. Now it probably makes for a great fucking story, but
yeah,
it just
I just like being completely enveloped in one thing. Yeah.
So how about you, Kev? You struggled.
Well, I'm gonna throw my one out there because I've said it so many times. I just want a fucking good game in the Blade Runner universe. Okay, it's not a lot to ask for. Cyberpunk. No, it's not. Ish. Ironically, they are set in the same state in America. They're both set in California in the future. Well, Blade Runner is now in the past, but whatever. Yeah, I'd love if we had that Blade Runner game all those years ago. We don't need to talk about that. But I'd actually like a specific Blade Runner game. It could be open world or linear, just in that futuristic city where you're following. It doesn't even have to. I don't even want it to be fucking Harrison Ford's character. Just completely unrelated to that, where you're playing a Blade Runner going about their mission, and it could be in the city or different planets or whatever. That's all I want. It's just a game in the Blade Runner universe, please. A triple A one, like made by
a good studio,
like not a side scroller, not like a top down. Like we get, like there's been plenty of cyberpunk style games where they're top down or they're side on or
arcade,
double A or they're indie. No, I want a big budget nonsense. That's the problem.
You want cyberpunk, but in the Blade Runner universe.
Yeah, basically. Like that.
Turn off ray tracing.
Yeah,
that's too much to ask for.
just play it in black and white. It's fine.
And add dust.
Add lots of dust. But no, I just like I've said, like I love, like, science fiction is my favorite genre of anything, and that cyberpunk subgenre of science fiction, like that sort. I love that sort of shit. There. Why?
I thought you were just about to say cyberpunk not being its own genre. I was like,
no, it's like a subgenre of science fiction. But like even like the Blade, or even a proper, like, a well-made Matrix game. Like there was the Matrix game back in the day, was quite decent.
That was an MMO, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No.
Enter the Matrix, wasn't it?
Yeah. The one with Ghost and Naomi, or whatever her name was.
Oh yeah.
But like
I was thinking
new,
of the online one.
Like with Matrix getting its reboot with the new movie, like, it's possible. But yeah, like a well-made, just anything like that kind of subgenre, cyberpunk, Blade Runner, Matrix, anything like that, please.
Even like a Blade Runner made in style of kind of Hitman, in that kind of...
Even that'd be awesome. Even someone on Nexus Mods, just make it for me. Simple. Simple. Yeah.
First mission, kill Jared Leto.
It's probably because, like, they're expensive games to make, both in terms of financial and resources. Like, and that's why let's be real. The reason Cyberpunk 2077 performs so bad isn't because it's a badly made game. That's a different conversation. It's because it's so demanding on resources. It's an expensive game, but it's expensive in the power it needs. That's all I want. Like, we don't have enough games in that kind of Like if you look at anything else, like fantasy has plenty of stuff there. First person shooters, there's tons of them. There's not a lot of AAA cyberpunky games, and yeah, just make me a Blade Runner game, somebody, please, thanks. It can even be like EA can even charge me through the nose for microtransactions. I don't mind. It can even be a Ubisoft open world map marker bullshit clearing nonsense game. I'll still love the hell out of it.
Would you like an email from the main?
Do you know what? I would even accept an Assassin's Creed game set in the future. I'd even accept that.
Actually, that's not a bad call. Assassin's Creed
I don't
future.
want that. No,
It's just called coming out of the Animus.
Assassin's Creed.
Animus Creed.
But no, yeah, that's what I'd like.
We can get all these games, but just rebrand them to Assassin's Creed Jurassic Park and Assassin's Creed Blade Runner, because he's just going into the Animus and reliving that life as.
See, this is that monkey paw thing. This is the,
Yeah.
I want this game, but the monkey paw comes down. It's like,
But
it's
here's
made by
the catch.
Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Fucking Ubisoft, man. Like those guys are so they're just geniuses. Like they've literally like Far Cry, Assassin's Creed. I'm trying to think of other games. They literally just make the same game and release it a few years later with a different coat of paint and make fucking mega money off it, and they all get reviewed decently well. Those guys are fucking they're geniuses. Fucking play.
That's what I was thinking about. A mythology kind of series, and then I was like, that's basically Assassin's Creed or God of War at one point.
It's
like,
Assassin's
that
Creed,
route.
yeah.
And I was kind of like, okay.
I actually do. I think I said it the last time. A fella I follow on Twitter's been playing Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know if he's playing it again or for the first time. And he basically called it the best Assassin's Creed game ever made. And I was like, it's so true.
Yeah. It's Assassin's Creed without the bullshit, basically.
Yeah, I'm struggling to get into it though. I don't know why. I just am.
I was the same.
Good game.
Yeah.
I'm struggling. I don't know
Is
why.
every game I like hard for you guys?
I can completely respect it, what it's done. I can see why everyone loved it. I started playing, I kind of like, well, there's a couple of reasons. The first reason is it's just, I don't know what it is. I'm struggling to get into it. The second reason, every time I fucking move, my dog barks at the television. Because it's on a horse. And he's fascinated by horses.
Yeah, that would do it all right.
Fucking hell. Anyway. Someone make me a Blade Runner game, thanks.
That'd be a good one, actually.
Do you know who I even know who I'd like to make it? That's the thing.
I
People
think
who
I'd
made
actually enjoy
Deus
the
Ex.
game rather than the movie.
It's basically they already have the assets for it.
But
Eidos.
that's Eidos, and that's Square Enix, and you know where that's
And they just made Guardians of the Galaxy, so we know they're making good games still.
So make me a Blade Runner game, thanks.
Yeah, you hear that, Montreal?
My second... if they don't want to fork out for the license, they can just call it Raid Blunner. Like, it's fine.
Raid Blunner.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna get an ad on YouTube now for Raid
That's
Shadow
a monkey
Legends.
paw. Yeah.
Right,
you said the bad words.
What's your next one, Bill?
My second one was Game of Thrones, and I know, yeah, like you said, it's already been kind of done, and just without the names and without the skins and stuff like that. But
I still think it would be fucking cool.
Just give me a GTA Westeros, basically. And do you know what? I still think we will get it, because like, look how long it took. Like, that franchise has what, like 5 or 6 spin-offs in the works, and we're seeing the first one next year. But like, look how long it took us to get. I know it hasn't come out yet, but a good Harry Potter game. Like, this is gonna be our, like, what, 20?
I feel the monkey paw closing. Don't say that.
10 years later, after the last movie. I didn't think they were going to make a game after the what was it? They stopped on Half-Blood Prince, I think it was, during the as the movies were releasing, because like Kev said, that was the big thing to do at the time. As the movie
tie-in games. They were everything.
Game, and they were good games. But
They
this
were.
is going to be
the
the semi-open world kind of. You any way you want to play, this is how you can play.
I'm really excited for that game. I know there's a lot of
I can't fucking wait.
I know
don't
there's
give
a lot
shit.
of controversy. I can't wait for that game.
Yeah, this is what I've wanted. I've
Yeah.
envisioned this since I was younger.
Yeah.
So something of that caliber for Game of Thrones, like even though it's finished a couple of years now, we still could see it because it's created that franchise. Yeah, and I was thinking of The Witcher, and I was like, yeah, just in terms of you could be a seer, you could be from whatever house, or you could have new houses coming in through it. But just Westeros, and you could traverse it like GTA. Nothing to do with the storyline, doesn't have to be in the same kind of generation. And I think that's the best way to do them. Like look at like Mandalorian, for example. Like everyone wanted a bounty hunter show, but everyone was like, oh, we want Boba Fett or Jango or whatever, or Bosk. But it's kind of like, if they do that, there's too much kind of source material that people will be like, oh no, it doesn't do this, or he wears a red shoulder pad and not a fucking brown one. What are you doing? You're ruining my life. Whereas create that kind of new character with that same, he's a bounty hunter. So same with Game of Thrones. I thought too much about this. But yeah, same with Game of Thrones. Give it a new protagonist, new.
You're basically kind of visualizing that it's an Elder Scrolls game, but in Game of Thrones universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, for me personally, it's like the name kind of carries a lot more weight than what it is. Like the Avengers game. The Avengers game isn't necessarily the best, and if you take the superhero names out of it, if you take that kind of Marvel away, would you really play it then after it? So same with Elder Scrolls. I wouldn't have an interest in it, but slap the Game of Thrones names and something I'm familiar with onto it, and I'd be like, okay, pique my interest. Yeah. So Game of Thrones, GTA, Game of Thrones, just bring out a DLC, because GTA will still be out in fucking 20 years. GTA 5 will still be out in 20 years.
On the PlayStation 6.
Yeah. But, yeah.
My second one is actually similar in thought to yours, in that there are games of this, but for one, I've only gotten into it recently, and for two, they're not the type of games that I want to play. And I don't necessarily know if I want to play this type of game either, but I think it'd be cool. So I recently got into The Walking Dead.
I knew.
That was one of mine.
I did. Once you start,
The Walking Dead.
Once you start saying they're not the kind of games I want to play, you're talking about the Telltale games.
Yeah. I don't like Telltale games at all.
And that was one thing I kind of noticed. It's like, even though these games, they're already branched into the game universe, it's like, it's not a style of game we want to play.
No.
Like, perfect example, Telltale.
Yeah. So I think a Walking Dead game, like, it could be a survival horror game, story driven. What?
Hey, Stephen.
What?
This is a Dark Souls book.
It already exists.
No, it doesn't.
She needs to be called Rick Grimes and not Ellie.
It needs good gameplay. Fuck that game. Anyway, so something in that, like, akin to The Last of Us, where you have your story-driven narrative within the Walking Dead universe, or probably more likely something like Ark. You kind of have your survival game where you
have your compounds and shit.
You can set up your camp. You can get a group of survivors together. You can, not a real-time strategy, and I don't like games like Ark and stuff like that. That kind of survival game. But something around that. Yeah, maybe like Fallout, 4. I didn't like Fallout 4, but yeah, that system where you could create your own home base and kind of fortify it and stuff. Like, I think within that, it could actually. You know what? Fallout might be a good one. It's an RPG with survival aspects, but not really heavy into them. Because I do think the story within The Walking Dead is quite good, and having groups coming into it, and I think it deserves a better game than the Telltale games. I get the Telltale games are well received and good stories, but they're not good games. They're interactive.
They're hard to play.
They're interactive comic books.
Yeah, essentially. So
that's a good one. I had on my list, and like that, I envisioned it to like Fallout. That's why I said it, just because the one thing that stood out to me was when they were in the prison for so long, and I was like, that was their kind of base of operations. They had their gardens and stuff like that. I was like, that'd actually be really cool. I like that, going out on expeditions and stuff.
Now, I had a really cursed thought, so I'm blaming the monkey paw on this one.
This is the big
seasonal activities and stories.
Yeah.
So you have like every couple of weeks your new story drops. So like maybe the first one is, the initial survival, and then trying to get to Atlanta, and then after that you can move into the next phases, and then you get the saviors coming in, and like you already have a lot of that there already, which could be really interesting and a great way to bring it in terms of it progressing over time. But I don't like the live service. But it could be a good way to do that, where the world is evolving as it goes. So it's not just a one story narrative. It's like this actually will change over time.
Yeah.
And even have a big sprawling world that you can go out into all the time. But
different areas have different kind of levels of toughness in terms of like swarms and stuff, like what they'd...
Yeah. Like there could be a horde in a different area that you're like, I'm not going there. Can't go there.
Yeah. And then when you get to 100, you unlock Daryl on the battle pass, and you get his crossbow. And then Michonne is coming out the next season.
Oh yeah.
Shit. And then if you emo, her two fucking slaves come out with their chains. Yeah, you can do all sorts, Square, if you're listening.
Square, don't be listening.
Yeah, that was a good one. I actually thought of that as well. That was I think it's the big franchises, isn't it? Because I was trying to think of more standalone kind of movies and stuff like that, and I was like, it's hard to kind of, because they don't create that kind of broad universe or their own world. It is hard to envision kind of wanting to play it further than the main story.
I think it seems to be as well. We're kind of picking things that we want to live in and experience. It's not just I think this could be a really cool game. It's like, no, I want to be in this world.
Yeah.
And to do that, this is how I can imagine it. Because like, we all want to be a wizard. We all would have picked Harry Potter if Legacy wasn't coming out. That would have been first in all of our lists. Yeah. Lord of the Rings is up there because we haven't had a good Lord of the Rings game in a long time. It's just, I think these are universes that we just want to be in.
But Amazon cancelled it.
True.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's a good point. It's not necessarily like we want an end-to-end product. It's literally you want to be there. Which is what
I want a way to experience this medium in a different way. It's something that I enjoy and nearly be part of that universe rather than reading about it or watching it. It's like I actually want to actively be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kev, what have you got for your second?
Mine's reaching back into the past. And it's probably because the movie that was made was, well, I'm not going to say it was total shit, but it wasn't.
I know what you're going to say.
I just think it'd be a really, I
thought it was going to be good as well.
Yeah, right? No, like, as movies, it was never going to work out very well because there's quite a lot there. It would have worked better as a TV show. Now, I can't think, who's in Step Brothers? Will Ferrell, and what's the guy's name?
It's John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly. Like, he's brilliant. They got him on board. But
he was a good learn.
A linear Darren Shan saga game would have been pretty cool. Especially when you consider where that went. Like, towards the end, that just became a big fucking free-for-all fight, I think.
Yeah, the factions, wasn't it? Yeah. Or the what were they called? The purple ones?
It's been a long time. I'm going to say the Volturi, but that's clearly Twilight.
Different
franchise. Know what? That wouldn't be it now. Anyway, no. Hey, Twilight's not that bad.
It's not.
It's really not. But yeah, I get Darren Shan saga game would have been a really cool way to bring that into a different form of media other than the books.
Because we don't have a good vampire game. I think that's why I was so excited.
It's called the Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
But that, like, it's not. It's not. It doesn't feel like a genre that a lot of games have kind of endorsed.
No, there's been a few. There is that game just called Vampire
Masquerade.
It's on. No, there's another one, Vampire. I think it's on my Steam wish list.
Oh yeah, no, Vampire as well. Yeah, it's on.
I'm waiting until it's like €2 and then I'll buy it. Because that got good reviews. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Other than that, there isn't. It's a genre that has really been explored. But yeah, I think one that I would have picked if they hadn't just announced it like a month or two ago would have been a Wolverine or a Logan game. But we're getting that, so that's off the list. But yeah, no, a Darren Shan would have been cool because we all loved them books as kids. I don't know if Steven did.
I was too old.
Yeah, you were.
Steve was like, "Look at these losers reading Darren Shan."
But like they
Going
were
out to have a
were,
pint.
Yeah,
Fuck
they were
yes.
huge. or even not specifically from the books, but his Demonada series.
Yeah,
Like,
Lord Lost or something.
If it was inspired by that, but it was just like an open world RPG set in that demon universe, that would have been quite cool. But
because, like you said, there is so much you can do with that. Because, like where the main saga story ended up was great, and it's all the little things like Mr. Tiny and stuff like that along the way that you discover. Yeah, there's so much you could do with it. It's really
that
cool.
penny dropping was still the best thing ever. Like the
That was cool.
The Sons of Destiny. It's like, oh my god! Anyway,
Steven, his name was Des Tiny.
Not joking. His name was Desmond Tiny, and they were his sons. He Darth Sidious, he Emperor Palpatine them basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Maybe that's where they
Harkat,
got the idea
remember this twist with Harkat?
Yeah, with the name. Fucking Voldemort to them.
Yeah, he Tom riddled him.
Tom riddled them, yeah. Kurdish Schmelt.
Yeah. Kurdish Schmelt, yeah.
This is actually I don't know what it is in Darren Shaman, but in the Kingdom Hearts, that's a thing as well. The names. There's this the group called Organization 13, where they're basically the nobodies of people who've died from the Heartless.
Okay.
But their name is an acronym of their real life name with an X in it.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So
They
same
the X.
concept, yeah.
Yeah, so it's that kind of. I think that is a really cool way of putting in twists like that, where you're like, oh no, there's a reason why they have a name. Like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, did you ever read the 3 adult books?
Huh?
Did you ever read the 3 adult books?
No, I never.
That would have been that would make it cool. They're really good, by the way. They're really those 3. That series is really good.
That was the white cover, wasn't it? The first one.
Yeah, it's the City trilogy is what it's called. Those 3 books are really good. I actually recommend them. Darren Shan's City trilogy, because they're aimed at a more mature audience than 12-year-olds reading about vampires. Yeah. No, that's a really good series if you haven't read them. Definitely.
You got a third one, Dill?
Yeah, I had a kind of a slash one.
You can just get Guitar Hero, man.
Roses? Yeah.
Guitar Hero was great for its time. Yeah, the other one, like, we have variations on it, and we have had games in the past, and it's probably because I only saw the latest one last week, and I was like, it'd be really cool to. Like, I don't understand why they haven't branched into it more. It's the James Bond games. Like, why wasn't that continued, or even spin-off films? Like, it's such a fucking global franchise that it's a moneymaker if they done it right. Done it in terms of Hitman. And then I was thinking, crossed with the likes of Cherub.
They're doing that.
Which?
Sorry to just ruin your thing. They are making a James Bond game. The people who make
it, you don't know what's happening in the fucking future project.
Nah, the IO Interactive who make Hitman got the license to James Bond.
There we go. Happy days. Gonna add that
Did
to
you
my
guys
fucking
not know
Google
that?
Sheets. No.
IO Interactive got the license to James Bond. I think it was announced like a year ago.
Can we edit the timestamp on this and put it back like a year?
Everyone point and laugh at the idiot. No, I'm joking. Yeah. No. That actually is happening. So you got your wish.
Happy days. But for such a big franchise, I'm like, and they were such big hits on the 64 and shit like that. Like
the PS2 games are fantastic as well. Agents Under Fire and Nightfall were both very good games, and so was From Russia with Love. The movie tie-in that came 40 years late. I never played the Quantum of Solace one, or I think there was a Quantum of Solace one.
There was, yeah.
I never played that. Agent Under Fire was the last one I played, I think.
But that could be such a staple franchise for not even yearly or bi-yearly released games that could be on par with the the big AAA hitters.
It'd be interesting to see what IO do with their one, because I'm assuming they're gonna follow the same kind of episodic release that Hitman was very successful for them, where they'll give you like, you'll go to, I don't know, Monaco, and you'll have a map. Monaco just popped into my head, by the way, from completely randomly. You'll go there and you'll have a mission to do there and a targets or whatever, and then they'll release multiple different levels that you can do. I think they release 6 or 7 in each game, and there's a lot of things you have to do in each level. I'd say it's gonna be really cool. It's the perfect studio to get to James Bond. Let's be real.
Definitely.
And it's one of those, at least you know the direction that's going in. It has like their CV is just Hitman for that game. But yeah, there you go. My third one is null and void because it's actually happening.
Yeah, just as you were saying, I was kind of like, wait, isn't that happening?
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
It was announced a while ago as well, so it's probably like a fair bit along
into development.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was announced about a year ago, I think, so it's probably a fair bit of it.
Sure, they didn't say anything about Game of Thrones over the last year.
Don't think so.
Don't think so, no.
Looks like. Yeah. So that's my 3. I made the list of 3. So I had Jurassic Park, Game of Thrones, and James Bond.
Sorry, just before you go, Stephen. Phil, I actually thought you were gonna say a Dune game.
I don't know much about I don't know enough about the universe.
Just after seeing the movie, I thought you were gonna say it.
Yeah, I'm so impressive.
I don't know anything about I've not read the book. Haven't seen the movie yet, so I know very little about Dune. I'm very interested. I want to go see it, but yeah, I know it's huge.
And it's doing well.
So I'm gonna go. But yeah, like I had superhero ones, and I was like, "Oh, a Thor game would be great," but we're getting those renditions in, like, in development. That like now.
Saying that, I'd love another Batman game from Rocksteady.
Yes. Yeah. But we're getting fucking Suicide Squad or Gotham Knights from them.
Suicide Squad's from them. Gotham Knights is from
Montreal,
else.
is
it? Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Stephen. Go on.
Yeah, my third one, I'm gonna split into 2 because I don't really have much to say about one of them. I would love a His Dark Materials game, but I have zero idea how that would play out.
Still yet to watch that. Yeah, still yet to watch
is.
that.
Did you actually see they're making a VR version of San Andreas?
Yes. Mark Zuckerberg is.
Oh, yeah.
Facebook are doing it.
Yeah.
Fucking
Sorry.
weird.
Go on, Steve.
However,
you're not going to need a Facebook account to have an Oculus for much longer. Whoa! Sorry, go on.
You just need to be hooked up to the metaverse, that's all.
Yeah. Via spinal fluid.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how that would look or how that would work because it's not a violent game, or not a violent book, TV show, stuff like that. So that probably would be like a Telltale thing, which I wouldn't be interested in.
Or a Death Stranding thing.
There's no, you don't play Norman Reedus or Carrie Cargo, so I don't know.
But you play as the well-renowned actors and actresses that are in the show as already. Because it's all about the girl, isn't it? It's the girl from Logan, isn't it?
It's all about Lyra. So maybe something set in that universe again, in that timeline. So they might bring in your demons being able to fight, or stuff like that. It could be interesting. Yeah. But the last one that I wanted to say, but it's not a game that I want. It's a game that I want a TV show of, and I know they're doing it, and I really want it now. And don't fucking joke about that shit. Although I will watch that because I'm interested in.
Wait, what did you say? I didn't hear you.
I didn't say anything. It wasn't
what?
I said The Last of Us.
It is in development, I think. So it's Final Fantasy 14. I really think that would, and in terms of Final Fantasies, it's the one that would actually serve really well as a TV show. Plus, you content. It's not over the top. Like if you've seen the Final Fantasy 7 movie, that's just over the fucking top.
Now, are we getting an anime TV show, or is it going to be live action?
I think it's live action.
Oh, wow, okay.
Is it going to be as bad as Resident Evil 2's casting?
Don't remember.
Is it going to
It's
be
been
on
so
par
long.
with Attack on Titan's anime to live action?
I hope not. Big
That is
giant
so bad.
balloon titans. Oh, it's
Yeah.
awful.
That looked shocking, man.
Yeah, and I love Attack on Titan. It's so good. No. Anyway, so Final Fantasy 14 TV show.
There is an
Coming-
Attack on Titan game before you. I thought your tangent was going to go into that.
No, my next one was actually Tokyo Ghoul, which also has a game in it, and it's
Yeah.
on sale at the moment, so I might look at it. I don't know. Kev, third one for you, if you got a third one.
I didn't really have a third one out of rant instead. No, I was kind of just thinking about it now because I looked to my left and I saw
Everything
this. I saw this, and I thought we don't have a lot of games where we play the villain. And
That's
I
true.
thought it'd be really cool to have a game where you play the villain, where you play as
Oh.
the Joker, or you play as Loki, or you play as, I don't know, the Suicide Squad's happening. Obviously, that game's happening, but where you actually play as the
Yeah.
villain and pick your favorite villain and go play a game as him. I think that'd be pretty cool, or her. And not this bullshit
want?
anti-hero nonsense, just actual straight up where you're a villain doing villainous things. That'd be great.
Sinestro, that would be a great game.
What was it?
Sinestro. Because he's just an arsehole. And that would be so good because he has all the powers of a lantern.
But
Yeah.
would a Green Lantern game work well?
Yeah. Think of it, you could have literally button configurations for fucking different constructs.
But the idea that you can construct anything.
Well,
Like-
this is the thing. You'd have to have preset kind of constructs. Like you'd have
Yeah,
to have
which
like a
then-
fist or a hammer or a fucking sword and shield and stuff.
But
I
does
know
that
it
not
takes-
then- yeah, exactly. Like the whole point, the power fantasy of the lanterns is that you can basically wish a Mark Zuckerberg if you wanted. Which is
Yeah,
not
you
what
can literally put a tank around you. It's really good. The current run is actually really, really good. Well, yeah, I think I'd love a lantern game. But yeah, just talking about villains. Sinestro would be really cool
happened.
with the yellow lanterns.
Yeah, I think that
I
would
think
be
like
good.
I think the one game that I'd love, and I know we get plenty of the games, and we've 2 new ones coming out in 2.5 weeks or whatever. But I'd love a Pokemon MMO, like a proper, fully fledged Pokemon MMO, where like they could literally just follow the series where they release Kanto and then Johto, whatever. But
Mhm.
you start off in Pallet Town, you get given your first Pokemon, you have your team of 6, and then you go around as groups of people, whatever. Just think about it. But wherever it can go,
Yeah,
Like I think that
it'd
would
be
work.
amazing. Where you have
Yeah.
dungeons and raids and all that. It'd be fantastic.
Like,
But it
you
would
could
have to
bring
be
in-
done. It wouldn't. It couldn't be done on the Switch. Let's be real. It'd have to be a
No,
PC. It'd have to
no.
be a PC game.
Yeah,
I think
it would be
that's the truth.
phenomenal. Like that would be.
It'd print
like,
money. Print
yeah,
money.
That could be the game to get the live service model right, because
yeah.
there isn't technically story that you miss out on. So the live service part could be, bringing in your mega raids and all these extra parts, and then your
It'd be
DLCs.
insane.
Your DLCs are your new regions.
You'd
Uh,
have
New
you'd have
generations,
PvP in there. You could have your tournaments. It could be an app. There's just so much they could do with it. But they're never gonna do it. So
Yeah, even just being with your buds, like let's go fishing, and then someone catches a Magikarp or a Gyarados,
and it's
Yeah.
shiny.
that's the thing. That's how you get people stuck into it. Shiny
Like-
hunting.
Just think about the shiny hunting, and then IV hunting, and then you're fighting for specific moves or a specific role of your IVs or a shiny legendary. So like there's so much that like if you think about like a Destiny raid or a Final Fantasy raid, you have an encounter, and from that encounter it drops the weapon. Well, in this, you fight the Pokemon, then you have a chance to catch it, and then it can have a specific move set or a specific. Like there's so much they could do.
Yeah,
Even
And,
like every-
But it's not gonna happen. So
No.
Come on, Stephen.
I was gonna say, like every week, if you have your raids, that you could change the moveset. So if you've a Mewtwo raid is your first one,
Yeah.
Each week he has a different. So you have Side Strike.
Yeah.
You might have something else the next week, and then that keeps people in because like, oh, you got shit IVs.
Yeah.
So you're gonna keep going. It's like, or I want this one
Go
as
for
a
the
shiny.
roll.
I'm just gonna keep going. Like,
there's so
and then
much.
you have-
They could do so much. Like when you
Each
actually
season
think,
could be
when
like
you
the
actually
movies
think-
with the legendaries at the end of it type thing.
Yeah, when you actually think of it, they could do so much with it, and it's just such a missed opportunity because of the way Nintendo are. Unfortunately, the Nintendo are the way Nintendo are.
Nintendo don't want to do anything about it.
Why
Don't
would they?
play well
But
with
why
others.
would they? Like the IPs they have, literally, I'm gone really blurry. The IPs they
IPs.
have, the IPs they have literally print money for them. So why would they change?
Yeah.
Like I was saying to you guys, like I was trying to find Metroid Dread today, and it's literally sold out everywhere in the city. So
And this is like their in between game as well.
Mm.
It's not even their big release. This is like to tie you over up till their main series game comes out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we can take away from this is that we have these games. We just want them reimagined in different versions.
that's kind of where my other point comes in that like a lot of my favorite games of the last few years, especially, they're not tied to a big franchise or big IP or existing IP. They are new IPs. Like,
Yeah.
look, this year alone, you've Deathloop. I enjoyed that. It was a brand new IP. Returnal, obsessed with it. And by the way, that photo mode looks insane. New IP. Sekiro a couple of years ago, brand new IP. Elden Ring it's a new
Shima,
IP.
yeah.
Like,
Kana.
I'm Kana, yeah. Like, I'm someone that like Destiny was a brand new IP when it came out. I know it's a massive franchise now, but I'm someone that I would rather get something new and fresh and not linked to anything existing, because then you're not tied into, oh, you can't do that because it's not part of the lore, or it's not part of the whatever you want to call it. It's not
Canon.
Thanks, Dill. Brain fart. But like, and it gives developers and creators just creative freedom to do what the fuck they want and just tell their own story. And look, like Destiny is the perfect example. Like there's as much lore tied to Destiny as there is to like Tolkien's universe at this stage. Probably a bit of a reach, but like just so much background lore and so much story in Destiny, and it's expanding all the time. It doesn't need to be tied to an existing franchise to be super successful. I think existing franchise tag actually sometimes hinders games a lot more than if they released without the tag. I think if the Avengers game's probably a good example in that. Look, the game they made wasn't the game they should have made, but
Exactly.
there was so much hype around that game because it was Marvel's Avengers. Whereas if that was just released as a standard game with whatever, people are like, oh, you know what, I'll give it a shot. There wouldn't have been as much hype around it. So I think in that instance, the tag might have hindered it a bit. Whereas Guardians of the Galaxy, because it's tied to it, is benefiting from having that tag because they have the license and they have those characters and that story, and they can tell that, and it's benefited that. But for me, I don't necessarily need, like, I don't need something to be Marvel or Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones to really love it, because if it's good, it's fucking good.
Yeah. Just give us more good games.
Just give me more good games, original stories, existing stories. I don't care where it is. Just tell me stories and let me enjoy them.
I like when they're in the same universe though.
That's
because
fair. Okay.
you have half familiar, half new as well. Which to me, Mandalorian is exactly that. It was that perfect kind of weight of, we could throw in nuggets of, oh my god, this is relatable. You know, with having a completely new story.
I appreciate that. I think it's about a balance. If everything was owned by Disney and they just did remakes and expansions of what was already there, you'd get bored of it eventually. That's just like people like variety. So I think there's definitely a balance there. Like, I'm all in on any new Star Wars. Like, the one thing I asked for a few years ago was give me a Star Wars game made by From Software, and Jedi Fallen Order was basically that, and I loved it. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other examples. Like I don't. Yeah.
If franchises were a bit more bold with their direction and what they do with their IP as well, like that would be great. You know, like that Fallen Order going for a Souls-like game in the Star Wars universe. Brilliant.
Instead of just trying to be inclusive.
Yeah. So, but no, I agree with Kev. More good games is ideally what I want, but the whole point of this one was to pick out franchises that aren't games yet, definitely. And
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Like there's lots out there that I'm excited for that have franchise tags. Harry Potter, Indiana Jones game, whatever Star Wars games have been cooked up all around the world. Actually, that's the one thing I wanted to say. I want a Star Wars RPG set, like an open world RPG Star Wars game, which we were getting made, and they fucking cancelled it, and they aren't making it, and I want a game just like that. Star Wars 1313. The universe is perfect to play that bounty hunter role, and we were getting it, and they took it away, and we want it back. So that's what I'd love from a Star Wars game. Would be to play that bounty hunter wherever on Coruscant, where you start off, and it's that kind of gritty, dirty
underworld.
That could be your
underworld of Star Wars game. I'd love that. I'd love that.
Cyberpunk with a jetpack.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. We should wrap it up now. We're time.
I think we've covered all aspects.
Yeah. I didn't have any news articles there. There was plenty of news over the last few weeks, though. There was fucking
big news that I'm really excited about. Death's Door is coming out for Switch.
I saw that
in 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
and
3
PlayStation. And PlayStation.
Yeah. I cannot wait for that. I did not want to play that on PC because that is the perfect handheld game.
Yeah.
And
No, I agree.
So good.
I agree.
And I hope it plays well.
Yeah.
Death's Door, November 18th.
I agree. Yeah, like we had the GTA remakes announcement. We had Facebook's rebranding announcement. We'd lots of stuff that's related to lots of stuff. But yeah, I didn't really
go read your news somewhere else. We're not a news source. Fuck off.
I like doing that though. I like talking about it. But yeah, no, we wrap it up because I'm going to cinema.
You're going to see Harry Potter.
I'm going to see Harry Potter. 20-year fucking anniversary nonsense. So yeah, I can't wait to see what gets destroyed tonight by the dog when we're not here. But yeah,
enjoy the movie.
I will. I will probably cry.
Pretend it's your first time.
I will. All right, Harry. All right, Ron. All right. All right. All right.
Oh, it's happened already.
Anyway, yes. They're the franchises we would like to be made into video games, or just more video games. You know where to find us if you want to talk to us.
That was 36.
Yeah, that was episode 36.
Yeah.
We won't take 3 weeks off next time. I know if someone can't make it next week, we'll figure it out. If 2 people can't make it next week, I have a plan for what I can do. I'll do a solo thing. I have an idea for that I'm working on. I might do it anyway at some point because I want to do it. But anyway, yes. Thanks for this then.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. Bye.
Mouse, please work.